Hello, welcome to a Paper Flourish craft video. My name is Julie. Today I'm going to start to decorate my Lokta Paper Journal. I made the journal cover in the first video, so if you haven't seen that, please check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. This is made of Stamperia stone paper. And I'm making a journal to hold my decorated pieces of Lokta paper. Lokta paper is a gorgeous product. Lavinia produces a lovely, natural, beautiful paper. You get 10 sheets in a pack. This is now back in stock at Paper Flourish, ready to order or buy in store or set order online. So I have already gone ahead and I have done the inside of the back cover. And so it's quite flimsy here. You can see here it isn't. So I'll take you through the process of what I've done. Then I'm going to make a piece of the Lokta paper to go on the inside cover. I think you agree it looks pretty cool, doesn't it, in there? It is a really beautiful product to work with. I'm just going to place that to the side for the moment and I'll take you through the process of what I've done to do the inside cover. I started with a piece of Multifarious cardstock. So this is the Lavinia Multifarious cardstock. Now the measurement for this is 5 1/4 inches by 7 7/8 inches. When I pop it in, it's going to be just a little bit smaller than the cover. So I can still see the lovely decorated area around the edge. Now I don't want this to end up being stark white. I'm going to decorate this exactly the same as I did the piece on the inside of the back cover. So I have 3 different colours of Elements Lavinia ink. I've got Greensleeves, Russet Orange and the Pine. I'm going to use my Tim Holtz stone blenders and also the large stencil brush, Lavinia's. So starting with Greensleeves, and I'm going to blend. Now this does not have to be really neat because as you can see it's underneath the Lokta paper. It just adds that little bit of colour. You can see a little bit of it through the Lokta paper, but it also just stops it being stark white. So I'm just going to add that Greensleeves to the middle of the Lavinia Multifarious cardstock. Next is Russet Orange, and I'm going around the edges, the outside edges. Again, you will not end up seeing most of this, only probably just the very edges of it, but it adds that hint of colour under the Lokta paper. I'm going back in with the Greensleeves and just going over the top of the area. As you can see, it's not the greatest blending I've ever done, but it does not matter. You won't end up seeing it. And then I'm going to add some of the Pine, which is sort of a nice, beautiful green. And I want to, first of all, I'm going to ink the edges of the all 4 sides. And then I'm also going to come in with my large stencil brush, and I'll do this on each side, and I'm going to blend into the card just to bring that green in and darken the edges in a little bit. So here's the inked piece of Multifarious all done. I'm going to stick this onto the inside cover. Now I'm going to do that with Stamperia craft glue. I used the same glue to stick down the Lokta paper. Just a very light coat, rubbed it over with my finger and stuck it down, and it's done a really great trick. You cannot see any glue at all through that Lokta paper. So I'll go ahead and stick this down. All stuck in now. And so now I'm going to work on a piece of Lokta paper that can decorate the inside there of the front cover. This is the other half of the A4 sheet of this piece. So I'm going to use that. Look at all the beautiful fibres, things in this gorgeous paper. Now I want to make this a little bit smaller. At the moment it's too big. So I'm going to get a fine brush, some water, excuse me, reaching across there. And I'm just going to run that water down. What you'll find is when you do that, use that water, it tears away. So I'll go ahead and do that all the way around. Not only that, you also get this lovely frayed edge. So I'll do that the whole way around to just bring the size in a little bit. Now the first piece of Lokta paper I did in a previous video, I used the dinkles to add some colour to the background. So I'm still exploring what you can actually do with this amazing paper. This time I'm going to bring in my splatter box, pop it in the splatter box, and I'm going to use some of the lovely Lavinia sprays to add some colour onto the paper. First one, the acrylic spray. This is the, I don't know how to say that, Chartreuse. I'm not sure. So if anyone coming in store knows how to pronounce that, please tell me. And I'm just going to add some little pops of colour. I don't want to, again, I don't want to saturate the paper. I just want to add some colour to it. This is one of the Mica sprays, Kingfishers, one of my absolute favourites. Just giving this will add a little bit of mica into it, a little bit of shine as well. Quite a strong, vibrant colour, that one. And then, how about a bit of acrylic sun yellow? Can never go wrong with adding yellow. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh. Now, it's quite deep at the moment. I'm just going to go in with a little spray. Oh, I can see the mica coming through in that Kingfisher. Pretty. I'm just going to lighten it back a little bit by adding some white acrylic. Just a little bit onto it. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to leave it in the splatter box and dry it completely with the heat tool. Doesn't that look amazing? I'm going to hold it up, so I'm hoping you can pick up and see that lovely mica that came out of the Kingfisher. But definitely use your sprays on your Lokta paper. It's dried up without a problem. It just looks absolutely stunning. All right, this week, very exciting week at Paper Flourish. Not only have the mop brushes arrived, the restock of Lokta paper, as well as that, we've had the bippity boppity glue come in and the new stamps. So I went shopping the other day. This is Gus. Ginger, how cute. This is the forest flower. The wise owl, beautiful, beautiful words there. This is the vine branch. Actually quite large. It was larger than I thought it was going to be when that came in. Love it. And I liked this set as well. This is called Nightfall. I just love the fonts they've used on these beautiful sayings. So I have to use these today. And I'm going to save Gus for the front cover the moment. So Gus is going to the side, but this page is going to be all about ginger. So let's put ginger into action. I'm going to give it a go with my Lavinia acrylic boards this time, rather than using the stamp press. So let's pop dear ginger onto there. Now I'm going to place a piece of paper because the ink will go through. This is so fine, this paper. The ink will go through the papers onto your surface. Versafine Clair Nocturne. I'm going to ink up ginger. Let's stamp ginger. I'm going to have ginger just coming in on the side here, peeking in. Look at that. So cute. Now ginger's stamped really well there. Hasn't come out super dark. I would have liked to have been able to do a second stamping, but a bit hard off the block. So what I'm going to do is this time I'm going to bring in my Couture stamp press. I've actually taken the sticky grid sheet away because I did found when I stamped the fairy on the other piece that you could actually see the line of the sticky grid sheet. I'm going to hold this down with, so what I've done now, I'm actually going to stamp on the back and I want ginger coming this way. So let's place ginger in place. Because if I can do a few stampings, as I've found before, the print will actually come through onto the other side. So it'll make more sense what I'm doing in just a moment. Let me ink this gorgeous stamp. Look at the detail in these stamps. These owls are unbelievable. I'm going to bring in my Pink Fresh stamp press tool. Give that a really good press. Pick it up. And I'm going to ink that again. So this is the side that I was stamping on. I stamped several times to get that really dark image, but this is actually the back of the piece. So now when I flip it over, here's ginger on the front, and that way I've been able to actually get the mirror image. So I've got ginger coming in here, ginger coming in this way. So that's a way that, because the Lokta paper is so thin, stamping it several times, the ink will come through onto the other side. I'm just going to give that a quick dry and then we're going to add some other stamping onto this. Now this time I'm going to stamp the lovely vine branch and I'm going to stamp with Rainforest Versafine Clair. I'm going to use the stamp press again. I'm just going to pop those magnets in nice and close and hold that in place. bring up the stamp, ink it up, and hopefully this way Ginger will have a lovely branch to be sitting on. So the branches, that vine branch, I use just the end, the sort of stem of the branch up here. So that way I've got Ginger 1 on this branch and Ginger 2 on this one. I'm going to stamp the moon, because you always have the owls out under the moon. And I'm going to stamp in Medieval Blue. So I've already inked that up. Let's give that a press. I think I'm not going to do that again because I like the way that looks. That works really well. And here's my stamped piece of Lokta paper. Now, as well as the moon, I use the same colour, Medieval Blue, and this is the Nightfall set, and I've added the words full moon and also hoot. So I thought they kind of suited it, didn't they? So this is ready now to stick in the journal, and it's going to come in just in here. So again, I'll show you how I've popped this in. Stamperia craft glue. What I did was I started by just bringing just a light amount of the glue through the middle. Moved it around a bit with my finger. And then just stuck the Lokta paper in. And then I went just lifted up the sides and just put a little bit of glue here and stuck it down. So that's the inside cover done. I'm really happy with this. I love the way this paper's working. And just putting it on that Multifarious card, the cover now has the stability in it. So it's no longer flimsy. It's got enough hold there to give you a decent strong cover. All right, now the back cover, I'm just planning on leaving exactly as it is, and that shows up that lovely Dinkles background. But I do want to add decoration to the front cover. So this is where, excuse me, reaching across, this is where I want to add Gus. Thinking of popping Gus maybe around here. And then I'd like to pop the lovely owl sentiment in its entirety down the bottom. This is the one, what's this called? Wise Owl. So I'm going to prepare some pieces of cardstock that are big enough and also some pieces of Lokta paper that I can stamp these images onto and then place those on the front cover. So I'll just prepare those and then I'll show you how I ink those up as well. I've measured both stamps, and what I've done, this is the piece which is going to end up being underneath Gus, and this measures 4 inches by 5 inches. The smaller piece, which is going to go under the Wise Owl sentiment, that measures 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. So it's just a little bit larger than the stamped area is going to be. So I'm really hoping this turns out. Now what I've done is I've actually cut Lokta paper to the same measurement. And as I've discovered today, you can cut this on your trimmer. I've got the Papercraft rotary trimmer. It cut easily with that. Now I'm going to do what I did earlier, and I'm just going to rough up the edges of here. So with my water, this time I'm just going to go with the water right on the edge because I don't want to take too much away, and just rough up the edges a little bit of the Lokta paper. But I want to keep it close to the size it's at the moment. Whoop. All right, now what I've done is gone ahead and I have inked up the pieces of Multifarious cardstock exactly the same way as I did with this one here with that underneath piece. So the middle section I did with Sundance this time, Elements ink, line punch around the edge, and this time with the violet chalk, all I've done is gone right on the edge, just like this on the edge of the cardstock. So I just want that darker edge. Now I'm going to ink up the Lokta paper. I think I'm going to use the same colours. Let's see what happens. Maybe just the Sundance. Again, can we ink these up? I don't see why not. It looks quite pretty, doesn't it? That works. I might add a little bit of the Sundance and a little bit of the Lime Punch to these pieces. All right, Lime Punch. So all I'm doing, I'm actually brushing out, and that's sort of stopping, hopefully just helping to stop the sides coming in. Just adding that little bit of both colours. Now I'm not going to add any of the violet chalk. I just want to keep the lighter colours. Let's see if bleaching works on Lokta paper. So I'm just wetting, I've just put some water on my Lavinia fan brush. Sprinkle the water on top. I usually leave it just about 30 seconds, or if I get impatient, less than that. And then just a piece of paper towel on top. And it does work. That looks quite nice. I'm going to dry that with the heat tool. So see how it's just added that bleaching. So you get the little patches of more back to the natural Lokta paper. I've gone ahead and stamped. I use my stamp press to do it. I've stamped Gus onto the, this was the 4x5 inch piece of Lokta paper, which is now a little bit smaller, of course, because I torn the edge. And I did that with Pinecone Versafine Clair. The Wise Owl beautiful verse, I have stamped with Twilight Versafine Clair. So they're ready now to attach to the pieces of, I'm going to attach them first to the Multifarious, again using my Stamperia craft glue, and then I will attach them onto the front cover of the journal, again using that that Stamperia craft glue. And here's my cover finished. Doesn't that look lovely? This Lokta paper, I'm in love with that product. I think you know that already. So the craft glue is still just drying on there, so I'll just be careful not to knock them. So front cover, the inside cover. As I said, I'm going to leave the back cover as it is. May end up putting something on the spine. I'll have to think about that. Maybe this could look quite nice. Maybe something like this. Oh, might be too big. Maybe, oh, there's an idea. Might have to work on that. One of those, one of the, what are they called? Forest flowers. One of those on the edge would look really nice, wouldn't it? Oh, that might be another video, I think. So in the next video, I'll think about that. But in the next video, I will make a page and show you how to pop it in the journal. And we'll be able to add some more Lokta paper decoration as well. Thank you so much for joining me on my Lokta paper journey. I will be back soon with the next video in this journey. Thank you. Have a lovely afternoon. Bye.